Like, hey, Noel, did you get my agenda for Tuesday? Did you see that?
I I just saw that you sent me an email. I left town hall a little early this afternoon, so I haven't been on my computer, but I will do that tomorrow for you.
Wait, okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Hmm.
It looks like we still have some people coming in. Let's see.
Do we have a
Well,
call?
George finally made it. Hey, Sylvia, Brian, Dan,
I think Megan, I think we have a quorum now.
Okay.
Navdeep is here. Good.
See at least four people.
Five.
I think
Are
we
we
have
Five
on?
now.
five.
Are we on?
Yep.
Are we on? Just no camera. What?
Colin, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Oh, okay.
I guess you can't see his wife.
I'll just turn off the microphone. There we go.
I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing.
That you can't see us?
Yeah. Never mind. All right. Attendance here. I have a script here for 23 October. So we have Brian. We have Navneet. Thank you. We have George. Melissa's still in Indonesia, I presume. Dan's here. And Sylvia's here. So I think we have five so far. And I haven't heard from Nick whether he's going to be around or not.
Yeah, neither have I. I'd probably just call the meeting to order, and if he comes in, he can join us late.
Okay.
But that
I just have
we
a
can't do
spreadsheet
the
that I use to track all this.
we can't do
Uh,
the first hearing though, right? Because we need Melissa.
So I actually have good news about that, and we can.
Oh, good.
I talked to the clerk's office and we found a way. So, but I'll wait till we start the meeting and then I'll fill you all in.
all right. So let me go to my script. So I'm George Shepard, Chair of the Conservation Commission, and I call this meeting of the Conservation Commission to order. Members present remotely are, now I have to go back to my spreadsheet. We have Navneet Handal, Brian Murphy, George Shepard, Dan Wells, and Sylvia Willard. We have a quorum. And you can explain Melissa later on. We also have, John's not here, but Conservation Administrator Megan Sullivan and Administrative Assistant Noel Beeland. For this meeting, the
For the
Conservation
record,
Commission.
George,
Sorry?
Nick has arrived as well for the
Oh,
record.
good. Okay. For this meeting, the Conservation Commission is convening by telephone or Zoom web conference as posted on the town website, identifying how the public may join. Please note, this meeting is being recorded. Accordingly, please be aware that other participants may be able to hear you, and anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. And somebody in my kitchen is making noisy dishes. All participants should keep their phones or microphones muted unless recognized by me. So I will call on each speaker to address the commission. If you wish to address the commission, please click the raised hand icon or ask to speak by posting a request in the chat feature. Please identify yourself at the start of remarks. All right, so now we need to turn to the agenda. And which one should I go to? This guy here. So, is this something, Megan, you should put up on the website, or should we just roll with it as is? I've forgotten. I guess we will go with it.
Yeah,
So
sure.
the first item, it's 7:06, and the public hearing started at 7. This is 163 Sunset Road, construction of an addition to existing dwelling, construction of accessory dwelling unit, ADU, installation of an upgraded sewage disposal system within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. And this was last continued on the 9th of October. So, Megan, where do we stand right now?
So yeah, it was continued throughout October and at our last meeting in November. But originally I didn't think we'd have a quorum on this public hearing, because at the October 23rd meeting there was new information that was presented. There was only four commissioners here at the time of that new information being presented. Normally we would have commissioners who missed the meeting sign a certificate of missed meeting form, to adhere to the Mullen rule. So that basically saying they'd be informed enough to vote to issue an order in the future. But we unfortunately didn't record that part of the meeting, so we didn't record the public hearing. So that wasn't possible. But I did talk to the clerk's office, which has actually been really, really helpful in navigating this unique situation. And they said that it's okay for the applicant to represent all the information, exactly how it was presented at the October 23rd meeting. On my end, I just have to make sure that it's very clear in the minutes that all the information from the October 23rd meeting is being represented in its entirety for the members who are not present at that meeting. So just to summarize there, if the applicant presents the same information that was presented at the October 23rd meeting, then all present members at tonight's meeting can be eligible to vote to close the public hearing and issue an order of conditions
Oh.
at their choosing. So, sorry if that's super confusing.
No, but that makes sense. So do we have a representative from the filant?
Yes, I'm here to represent the applicant on this. For the record, Robert Melvin with Stamsky and McNary. And I will just share my screen here. All right. So I'm going to go over everything that we previously went over at the October 23rd meeting. So the updates that I have for you today are, so if we recall, we were waiting on some Board of Health comments, and part of those comments required additional testing for the system, which, if you recall, from the original plan was previously proposed in this area here. So they requested an additional test pit. I went out to the site. We dug a hole. Sorry, I'm just trying to zoom in here. We dug a hole closer to the top of this slope here. And unfortunately, we encountered unfavorable soil conditions as we dug very shallow ledge up here. So we had to find a new location for the system. I ended up trying to dig toward the right of our screen here with not much luck. Unfortunately, much of the area here is shallow to ledge conditions, which isn't favorable for septic systems under Title V. So, throughout the site, we've tested pretty much everywhere we could outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. And the only area we didn't identify originally was where the system is currently proposed. And the only reason we didn't do that originally was because we wanted to avoid affecting the proposed ADU location. However, this sort of was our last-ditch effort here. So we went back out and tested in this area. Fortunately, we found great soil here that was suitable for the system. So we proposed a revised system here. It did require that the ADU had to be shifted about 8 feet toward the existing driveway here. However, we did get a fully compliant system with Title V. So what we did is we've graded out the system. There is some breakout grading here that extends into the 100-foot buffer zone. And there will be required, I believe it was 4 trees to be removed here. I'm sorry, it looks like 5 trees. But we've calculated the total DBH of the trees being removed, and we've proposed a mitigation planting plan commensurate with the Commission's tree removal guidelines. And the ADU design hasn't changed much at all. Again, we shifted that forward about 8 feet. We still have a little bit of grading for that as well, and a little bit of proposed driveway in the 100-foot buffer zone. Now, I believe that is all the updates that we shared on October 23rd. Megan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd also like to share that we did receive a Board of Health approval on the revised plan earlier, I believe, last week.
Yes, that is correct.
And so that's it. I'll happily take any questions.
Do any commissioners have any questions they'd like to present? Well, let me just say that I apologize for not having been able to satisfy your needs back on the 23rd of October, but I'm glad we can do this now. Appreciate your summary. It sounds like your modifications make sense. I like the position of the siltation barrier. So I would look for a motion to accept this plan.
So moved.
Ryan?
Um,
I move we
Go ahead-
close
go
the
ahead, Megan.
public hearing first.
yes.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Anyone in the public who would like to make comments? We do have people from the public, but hearing none, I'd like to get a motion to approve this.
No, you have to close the public hearing first. So you have to
Oh, come on.
close the
I
hearing.
need to
and
study.
then we
Okay,
vote it.
thank you, Navneet. So can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Seconded.
So Navneet and Dan. We'll take a roll call vote. So Navneet,
Aye.
Nick. Isn't he here? I thought he was.
Aye.
Okay. Brian,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Sylvia,
Hi.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes. All right.
So now we need another motion to approve.
Understood. I just have to, I've got one little screen here on my laptop and I need to be able to see more things. Where'd it go? Come on. Anyway, all right. Can I get a motion to approve the DEP file 125-1202 for 163 Sunset Road?
With no special conditions?
Well, I look to Megan to say, are there any special conditions that we need to present here?
Besides the supplemental conditions that kind of go with every order, I don't have any site-specific ones on this
All right.
one.
So
Unless you all
Brian, can I
do.
get you to make the proposal?
Yeah, so I propose we accept the DEP, sorry.
We issue an
125-1202.
order.
Although to issue an order with standard conditions.
Second, anyone?
Seconded.
Navneet, thank you. And we'll take a roll call vote. Navneet,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Dan,
All right.
Sylvia,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And I'm just going to stay on here because I believe I will be presenting the next project as well.
Congratulations. All right, moving on to the agenda. We have a request for determination of applicability for DOA dash number 396. This is locations 55 Suffolk Lane. I think it's 10-6D-2A. And on behalf of Colin Higgins, and the applicant is Stamsky and McNary. And I guess you're right. You are the next one, Robert.
Yes.
So this is to construct a repair sewage disposal system to replace the existing failing system. No part of the system or any fill in the proposed within the 100-foot buffer zone. However, construction vehicles may need to enter the buffer zone temporarily during construction. Erosion controls are proposed down gradient of all construction activities to prevent the indirect alteration of the border vegetation. So, Megan, looking at your red lines, do you want to make a summary for the Conservation Commission first?
Maybe we can hear from Robert first, and then
That'd be
if I
fine.
have any other comments, then I can chime in.
Okay. Well, I'm
Cool.
sorry, I was looking at your red lines. So, Robert, do you have a summary that you'd like to present?
Yes, I'll throw this plan up on the screen and I'll go over this really quick. All right. Again, for the record, Robert Melvin with Stamsky McNary, representing Colin Higgins on this sewage disposal plan and request for determination of applicability. Here we have bordering vegetated wetlands located to the west side of the property, projecting a 100-foot buffer zone onto the property. Here, we ended up testing outside of the buffer zone here, proposing a repair sewage disposal system to replace the existing failed system, sort of almost in the same footprint. As stated, we may have vehicles entering the 100-foot buffer zone for construction, which is why we're making our request today, but no part of the actual system is in the buffer zone and no fill is proposed in the buffer zone. So we provided a siltation barrier to control any sediment from construction activities and protect the wetlands. And I also wanted to make mention that we are going to be appearing in front of the Board of Health later tonight as the existing system is in failure. And the owner would like to reconstruct the system after the Board of Health's winter shutdown, which began on November 1st. So it is sort of an emergency situation to have this repair as soon as possible.
All right, Robert, thank you very much. So, Megan, do you have some comments that you'd like to present?
Sure. I confirmed with Robert that the construction vehicles wouldn't be going beyond the erosion control in the site plan. So what you see as the erosion control in the site plan is also the limit of work. So that's important to note. So that kind of barely even crosses into the 100-foot buffer zone. I don't see this having an impact on the wetland, and as stated before, it seems to be kind of an emergency situation. So my recommendation would be to issue a -3 determination, which just means that there's work occurring in the buffer zone, but it will not alter the wetland resource down gradient, and so no notice of intent is required. And that determination could be made provided that they put the erosion control in, which is on the plan. But we can make that a condition of the determination too, since the site really slopes downhill towards the wetland. It's important that that's there.
So, do we need to be notified when the erosion barrier is actually in place so we can verify it?
So with determinations, they don't require that the applicant notify us, but if they want to give us a courtesy notification, I'll always be happy to swing by and make sure that they're
Okay.
doing their job.
So, and I believe because they're going in front of the Board of Health that they would appreciate a negative fine from us when they move forward to there. Is there any other people in the public that would like to make comments?
I have a comment. This is
Oh,
Sylvia.
I'm sorry. I'm getting back to the members next, but go ahead, Sylvia.
Okay. I read down through everything, and first of all, I think it's great that they filed with us when there was, looks like obviously a very little amount of work there. One of the things that I discovered as I looked through the filing was that the affidavit of service hadn't been signed and dated. And I know that sounds trivial, but it's important to have. And that affirms that the abutters were indeed notified and on the date. So I would suggest that unless the hard copy that was delivered was signed and dated, that they provide that document to the Conservation Department for Megan to put in the file.
Yes, I can affirm that we definitely have that signed and dated. Abutters were notified.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I forget to throw that back in when I'm sending the electric.
Okay. Well, I wondered if that might be the case. So, and I assume
Right.
that Megan went out there and checked the wetland delineation.
She's smiling. That says yes.
Okay. All I see is a plan in front of me.
I checked the wetland and it was on a day that it was pouring out, and I think Megan was in California still.
Oh, okay. So everything was wet.
Yes, but I did clearly see the flagging, but like Megan said, the grading is pretty significant. So I didn't go down because like I said, it was
Steep.
raining, so
Yeah.
It was steep.
didn't want to fall down the hill, but I saw it from uphill.
Well, it does look like it's at the base of a slope, so very likely that's where the wetland line is.
All right. Any other comments from the committee or public? Then I'm going to put forward Megan's recommendation to issue a -3 determination for 55 Suffolk Lane, DOA number 396. Can I get a motion from a committee member?
Yeah, but do we have to say that because the Board of Health hasn't yet approved it, that we're going to assume it's based on this plan? Because if the Board of Health totally changes what they're doing tonight, which I doubt it, then they would have to come back to us, right?
Well,
Yeah,
no,
so I
because
talked to our health agent, Linda Fantasia, and she was more so kind of urging, not urging that we approve it, of course, wanting to make sure that everything was in compliance with the Wetlands Protection Act. But it seemed like there was a few very minor deficiencies that will be fixed. But Robert, maybe you can speak to that better.
yeah, we received a Board of Health comment letter last week. And there were just two minor comments. One was to add the water line, which is actually the version we're showing today, and to add this overdig line around the system. Aside from that's all we received from them. And also, the only reason we're going in front of the board is to request a waiver to allow the system to be constructed after November 1st. So there's no expectation that there'd be any changes to the plan, regardless of what happens at the Board of Health tonight.
So, Brian, you raised a good point. Usually we let the Board of Health go before the Conservation Commission.
So
And
I would make a motion for a -3 based on the plan that's presented to us tonight. And if the Board of Health changes it completely tonight, they need to come back to us, right?
I think that makes sense.
I'll
Can
second.
I- Thank you, Dan. You'll take a roll call vote. Navneet,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Sylvia,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Moving on. Interesting. We don't have any times for any of these later things. Tree removal application. This is 547 Westford Street, John Richardson and Sheila Heen. Removal of 10 large red pine trees, 4 large ash trees, and 1 medium black cherry tree in proximity of existing structures within a 100-foot buffer zone. And apparently all the trees that they would like to remove are dead. And we had a verification that indeed they are dead. So, do we have someone from the from the proposer to give us a description of what they're recommending?
Sure. By proposer, you mean the homeowner or the
Yeah.
tree service?
Well, either one or both.
Just the homeowner here. Yeah, there's a couple big trees and a couple are leaning over the garage. Some are possibly within the fall range of the main house. The 2 homeowners ago planted this grove of red pine in around 1945 because lumber was scarce in the post-war era, so they had their own tree farm. It's the age that they're dying and falling down, and frequently falling on the roses next door wires. But that's the power company comes out and fixes that. But I'm just looking to avoid potential impacts on property and my neighbor's electrical connection.
So I believe your plan includes replacing the trees that you're going to chop down with 40 native saplings.
Yeah, my brother, he lives in Concord, is sort of an amateur tree guy. He says the right thing for here is red maple and river birch. The time for planting those isn't until probably April, but they're available in lots of 10 each from the Arbor Day Foundation. And so I think that's probably the best bet to reestablishing, a native tree base that's, their roots are going to help hold the thing together.
Okay. So, Megan, do you have any comments you'd like to put forward now? Did I miss somebody?
Typing something, I think.
Sorry.
Sure, sorry.
Mike was off.
I was gonna say, from the application, it was noted that the crane that would operate to remove the trees would be using the driveway. So that's always something important to note so that we know that the removal won't impact the wetland. So if they're doing that from the driveway, then that's good. And then because all of the trees that are proposed for removal are already dead, according to the tree removal policy, the commission can require 50% mitigation if the trees are healthy. So these trees are dead, so the owner doesn't have to provide that mitigation. But I actually did do the math, and with the 40 trees that they're willing to provide, the saplings, they actually would be providing about 50% mitigation anyways, even though they don't have to. So I don't have any problems with this. I know that the property owner is also willing to leave a 10 to 15 foot high snag of all the trees that they're cutting to provide some wildlife habitat. So that's also a plus here. So besides that, I don't have any comments. I guess actually one thing I will note for the property owner is that we did notice that there are a few open orders of conditions on this property. So we're probably going to be reaching out to you soon, just so we can understand the status of those projects. I'm assuming they're done.
That's
But
you mean the for the development of the back house for my mother, you mean?
yes, I think so. Yeah, there's still some erosion control that Noel had seen on the site, and then we just saw that COC's certificates of compliances hadn't been issued yet. So Just wanted to note that we'll probably be following up with you shortly after to maybe get those closed out if all the work's been completed in compliance.
Okay. Megan, I had one further question. I'm happy to leave the snags. I wonder if you need all of the trees. And I'm just asking because the ash is hardwood. It's been dead for a while. It's ready to burn. That's like, I'm coveting that as firewood.
Yeah, I mean that's ultimately up to the commission, so maybe they'll give you some leeway on that, but I'll leave it up to them to decide that.
Okay.
May I ask where the replanting is going to take place? Same place as the removals or elsewhere?
Yeah, in that same little stream valley, I guess you call it. I got to talk more with a tree expert about like how close to the stream bed you want them. But I'm trying to think of like how do we prevent erosion in that area?
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like you're being thoughtful about it, which is good to hear.
All right. Any other commissioners have a comment? I
Yeah,
see
but-
Sylvia's wagging her finger.
Okay. I had the same question for starters of where will the plantings be?
I'm
And-
open to advice.
Well, it's one thing to take a lot of trees out of the buffer zone. The question is, are you going to be planting in the buffer zone or planting elsewhere is the issue. I was wondering, do you know what size the new ones are going to be?
I think they come as saplings, like very small. And I'm advised they probably over 10 years have about a 50% survival rate. Which
Okay.
is why I thought to go, with more than double the number of what we were taking.
If I remember correctly, those red pines pretty close together.
They are.
So there's going to be a lot of stumps and roots in the way. That's not going to be very helpful in planting or digging a hole to plant the trees. So
That's true, although these trees have been dead for a while, so I'm hoping their roots have already been rotting some. And because it's in a wet spot, I think they'll probably rot pretty quick.
do you think any of them may be planted in the wetland?
Would you like me to? I mean, I don't
Oh, no,
have
no,
a
I just
strong
wondered if
opinion.
you do. And the other thing is making sure you're planting on your property, not your next door neighbors.
Oh, yeah. The Rose's property actually doesn't start until very close to their driveway.
Oh, okay. All right, that's all.
So you raised the issue of firewood.
Yeah.
I look to the commissioners to say, is there any reason why you can't harvest the dead trees and use them for firewood? At least not the pines, I hope.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm thinking of 4 out of 15 trees to the ash.
Okay. And if you're going to do a snag, which tree are you planning to use? Is it a pine or an ash or the cherry?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the idea was they were all to be snags. That's a request for one snag?
Oh, well,
So I propose that if the ash is what you're quote unquote coveting, I
Yes.
say take those and as many of the red pines and the one black cherry, if you could leave those as snags, that'd be great.
Works for me.
All right. So, any other comments from the commissioners? Now open up to the public. Does anyone in the public like to make a comment? Hearing none, I think we'll move to I'd like to get a motion to approve this what was the number here? The removal of 10 large pines, 4 ashes, and 1 medium cherry tree at 547 Westford Street.
I move to approve the tree application for 547 Westford Street, noting that the 40 saplings are going to be planted at various sites on the property, and a total of 11 snags or so, give or take a few, will be left.
Second.
Thank you, Nick. We'll take a roll call vote. Let's see. Sylvia.
Aye.
Dan,
I,
Brian,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Navneet,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes.
Thank you very much. Y'all are doing the hard work of democracy.
No comment. All right. So we have new and pending business. First thing are bills. Megan, do you want to run through them, or do we have a slide with those actually on there? I see the agenda has them.
I can run through them. I have all the bills, all the invoices in the shared drive. If you want, I can pull them up one by one, but I'm not sure. Let me see.
I don't think you need to. I would just
Okay.
go through the list and
Okay, I'll just run through them. So the first is from Concord Lumber for $110.20. This is paid out of the Foss Farm revolving fund, and the lumber is used to make the yellow plot marker stakes at Foss Farm. The second is from RD Fence Company. That's for $281.35. That's also paid out of the Foss Farm revolving account for fence repairs in the parking lot. Our third one is O'Connor Ace Hardware for $60.98. That's also paid out of the Foss Farm revolving fund, and it's for well-related plumbing parts. And then we have a bill from Carlisle Rubbish for $65. That's paid out of LSC's budget, which is the repair and maintenance budget of ComCom's budget. And then the last bill is from Weston and Sampson for $3,020. And that's for the Greeno H&H study, which is paid for out of our CPA fund. And I guess it's worth giving a little bit of an update on the H&H studies. I'm not sure if we've had an update on that in a while. So Weston and Sampson has completed the field survey plans and has collected field data. The field data is currently being incorporated into the models, and the model development is now well underway. So now they're just reaching the point where they will be incorporating calibration data from our volunteers who are going to be collecting water level data. And so that data will go into the calibration model. And then after this is complete, the next step will be the dam rehabilitation alternatives analysis at the Cranberry Bog. And then in terms of Greeno, the next step will be the operation and maintenance plan. So that's kind of where we are for that.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Brian.
The Weston and Sampson bill, I saw that there's like an overdue balance. We didn't pay something. Do you know if we ever paid that?
So I think it just takes a while because the one that it's referring to, we already sent to the town accountant. So I can look into it, but I did also catch that it had a total balance. So
It's a little embarrassing, that's all.
yeah, we're just never paying. I can check on it.
Thank you, Megan. Any questions or comments from the commissioners?
I have one.
Go ahead, Sylvia.
I am still waiting for Weston and Sampson to ask me for my data for Greeno. I have 25 readings that I took between December 2023 and August 2024. And I've been waiting for them to ask for it. And I need to put it in a form that is best readable by them. It's pretty much all together, but I wasn't going to waste my time if they weren't going to ask for it. But I spent a lot of time there, readings that took place essentially simultaneously between Maple Street and Greeno Dam. Over that period of time. This was real, it's real data. It's not photographs.
Yeah. Sylvia, that's great. And I think that's going to be really useful because I think a while ago when you had mentioned that to me, I asked if that data would be useful, even though it's however many years, not that old, but a few years old. And they said it would still be useful. So actually, if you want to send that to Noelle and I, maybe we can compile it in a way that makes sense for them. I don't know how they need it in what form they want the data either, but we can inquire about that and help get that to them.
The important thing is that they need to know where I was getting the data from on Greeno Dam. It's pretty obvious where I was getting it from on Maple Street because I made the measuring device and had it installed, and it's kind of in your face. It's the big
Okay.
white board with tick marks on it. But they need to know where I was measuring from at Greeno, which is a spot that doesn't move.
Yeah.
Was there. And it was actually mentioned as available in the contract that was given to them. So it's here.
Yeah,
was
will
a lot of
definitely be
work.
useful. Yeah.
So Sylvia, you'll package that up and send it to
It
Megan.
won't be before Thanksgiving.
That's okay.
Oh.
I
Why, are you
wouldn't do
busy?
anything with it before Thanksgiving either, so that's fine.
All right. Anyone in the public like to make a comment on the bills we have to pay? So can I get a motion from the commission for the administrator to pay the above bills?
So moved.
Second.
Brian, thank you. Nick? We'll take a roll call vote. How unusual. Navneet?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Sylvia?
Hi.
The chair votes aye. The motion passes. All right. So next on the item list here, we have a discussion of the final draft of the conservation restriction at 180 Prospect Street. The CR draft has already been approved by the landowner, Sudbury Valley trustees, and the state.
So I think we have a representative. Yeah, I see Meredith here tonight from Sudbury Valley Trustees. I think she's going to provide us with a little more information on this.
Yes, I can certainly do that. My name is Meredith Houghton. I'm the Senior Land Protection Specialist at Sudbury Valley Trustees. And yeah, as noted in the agenda, we have a conservation restriction for the property at 180 Prospect Street, owned by Catherine Endicott. We've been working with her for a few months now on putting this together, and as noted, it's sort of gone through that negotiation phase, and now it has been approved by the State Department of Conservation Services. So the state has given their blessing for us to now collect the local signatures. So I had talked with Megan about sort of those next steps, which brings me to you all. And notably, in the CR that we shared with you, the select board, of course, will need to sign as well. So we are speaking with you all first. And we are also going to be meeting with the CR Advisory Committee. They have a special meeting set for December 1st coming up to help facilitate this process as well. So what I'm hoping to ask of you all this evening is to sign off on the municipal certification as part of the CR that I sent, which basically says that the Conservation Commission is in support of the CR and you know sort of provides that support ahead of the select board actually approving and signing the CR as well. So I'm here to, you know, any questions you have, yeah, anything you all wanted to discuss this evening. But I'll just emphasize, you know, really what we're accomplishing with the CR. It's 14 acres in total. This property, the CR will be about 12.7 acres of that 14 of the property. So the majority of the property will be under CR. The main purpose of this CR really will be to keep this land in agriculture. It is right now a small organic farm operation, and a lot of the interests of the landowner are to keep it that way and also allow for opportunities for
education of the public. There's courses right now from Boston School of Herbal Studies that operate on this property. There's a farm stand, I'm sure many of you are aware. And so keeping those uses are really the interest. So first and foremost, kind of in this CR is the agricultural uses and allowing the space to be open for that in perpetuity. But of course, this is also adjacent to the corridor just to the west of Prospect Street that is quite expansive, that flows into the town of Concord and includes Estabrook Woods. So this enhances that open space value along with that corridor. We have farmland soils of unique importance on this property that we're also protecting. And this also helps accomplish some of the goals of the Open Space and Recreation Plan, as noted. Also, the Massachusetts Farmland Action Plan. This helps achieve some of those goals, which has been a big deal lately, too. And also Prospect Street being a scenic road, this also would help protect that scenic vista as well. So those are sort of the main highlights, but I welcome if there are questions or anything you all would like to discuss. But again, the main goal this evening is to make sure you guys are all aware of this, and hopefully to gather your support ahead of going to the CR Advisory Committee and the Select Board. And I know this is a little bit backwards, and maybe Megan can speak to that. Our timeline is a bit truncated. We have to get this completed by the end of the calendar year because this is a donated CR. So for tax purposes, it is important to the landowner that this is completed very soon. And for that reason, the CR Advisory Committee agreed to do a special meeting on December 1st. So I think the idea, and I'll let Megan jump in if I'm getting this wrong, is that you all would review it this evening since you don't have another meeting until, I think, later in the month in December is how I understand it. But basically review it tonight with you all and sign, provided that the CR Advisory Committee also supports this at their meeting on December 1st.
So Megan, do you want to summarize your recommendation?
Yeah, Meredith did a great job summarizing, and that's exactly right to my understanding of the situation. Usually CRs go to the Conservation Restriction Advisory Committee first, and then to the Conservation Commission and then the Select Board, but we're kind of changing it a little bit because they have this strict end of the year deadline. But one thing I did want to note about this, if the commission does approve it tonight, I have reached out to town council to understand if I'm able to sign off on that, on the CR, on behalf of the commission, if you will authorize me to. So I should be hearing back, from them shortly, but if not, then I think, or maybe Sylvia can speak to this better. In the past, I'm not sure if the conservation administrator signed off on it or if the commission members did. Okay.
Never.
So yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why never. And that's the last time we had a conservation restriction like this. It was in 2018, which was before COVID, and we were meeting in person anyway. But when you're done, I have a couple of comments, so I'll let you.
Well, that's all I had to say. So.
So let's open it up to commissioners for questions or comments.
So I'm here with my crack hat on. I just want to know, are the meets and bounds of that property clearly labeled? It sounded like you were saying it's not the CR isn't going to be the entire property, it's a portion of it. And just from a crack standpoint, it's very challenging for us to go out and try to guess where lot lines are. So I'm just hoping that that there'll be I saw the plot plan you gave us, but it's not I don't know if it shows the CR bounds versus the property line bounds.
Yes, it does. And thank you, Megan, for pulling that up. So yes, they have a recent survey that the landowner contracted. The bounds are marked, and then you sort of see the circle floating in the middle around the residence and some of the structures, and that is the excluded area, Brian. So there is monumentation there. We SVT also really like clear bounds, so we are on your side. We requested that they do their best there. within reason. You know, there's mowing and things that happens out here, and we don't want to damage their tractors, so we don't want monuments in the middle of the field and, you know, all that fun stuff. But yes, it is marked pretty well. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
welcome. Thank you, Stamsky.
So Sylvia, you had a comment or two?
Yes, first of all, I read down through the entire CR and the municipal certification document. Very, very well done. Yeah, it's well done. Conservation restriction. I mean, the reason I went down through it was fairly thoroughly was that this is a private piece of property, and the grantee is not the town. It is Sudbury Valley trustees. And so they're the ones that will be responsible for making sure that the CR is being managed the way it is supposed to be according to the CR. But what I wanted to know was whether there was anything in there that would require the town to be responsible for, especially in the case of enforcement, in case there should be attorney's fees and something like that. And I saw nothing along that line. So we did have once, a number of years ago, a violation of a CR, and the town was stuck with a financial bill. I wanted to make sure that there was nothing like that here, any gotchas, and I didn't see any. I will say that also in 2006, Catherine got an order of conditions to make the pond or create the pond that's there shown on the plan. It was in the buffer zone. It wasn't dug in a wetland, but I checked, and she still has an outstanding a need for a certificate of compliance. Sometimes those things come back to bite if you don't take care of it, and she's probably been so busy she forgot all about it. So
Gotcha. Noted. Thank you, Sylvia.
okay. I used to be in Megan's job, so
Yes, I've heard of you, Sylvia. I know you, but I'm glad to meet you as well.
All right, any comments from other commissioners? Hearing none, anyone in the public would like to put forward a comment or question? Then hearing none, I would like a motion that the commission approve the CR, provided that the CRAC approves the CR on their December 1st meeting. And once the CRAC approves, the CR will then go to the select board on the 2nd of December.
So moved.
So that's Brian, seconded.
Seconded.
Navneet. We'll take a roll call vote. Brian?
Aye.
Let's see, Dan?
Aye.
Sylvia?
Aye.
Navneet?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, the motion passes.
Can I say one thing, a little thing?
Sure.
As far as the municipal certification goes, and the CR stuff, I guess the commission doesn't sign the CR in this case. It signs the municipal certification. It's kind of neat to have your name on a piece of paper that's going to be forever protected, a piece of land that's going to be forever protected. So kind of hoping that maybe everyone on the commission gets to sign it. Just my humble opinion.
All right, moving on.
Thank you,
Number
everybody.
3, Trails
Appreciate it.
Committee, trail
Thank you.
relocation to Elliott Concord River Preserve. Hopefully everybody got a chance to look at the maps and figure out the rationale why. And do we have someone to present this to us? I don't see any names associated with this in this particular. Has everyone had it? Oh, is Steve?
I'm not sure. I see Steve is here. I'm not sure it warrants like a full presentation, but I guess if Steve, you're willing to talk a little
summary?
about it, I can pull up some of
Yeah, pull up the slides.
pictures.
Great.
Okay.
So it's kind of background. We've had a lot of complaints about how slippery and steep the slope is on this particular trail at the Elliott Preserve,
Including from me.
including from Sylvia. So we've been trying to figure out for a while how to do something about it. So the picture on the right is where the trail steeply goes up this hillside. And the issue is all these tree roots beneath these big pine trees, because they kind of slope down the hill. And if they're wet or there's snow on them or there's leaves covering them, they're extremely slippery. The soils on this hillside are very sandy, so it's kind of washed away, exposing the roots. So what we would like to do is to reroute the trail. You want to go to the next slide? So the blue is the existing trail going down the slope, and I pulled up the 1-foot contours from Mass Mapper. You can see it's crossing a lot of contours here. And the red is the rerouted slope. So we start at the same spot up at the top of the hill. We cut across at a slightly different angle, and we've chosen the location of the steep part of the trail so that it's not near any trees. So we're not going to have the problem of roots being exposed as the trail wears in. And then down at the bottom, it's quite a bit more gradual than the old trail is. So one thing to note is there's a stream that's kind of hidden by all the boxes up at the top of the slide here, but it connects to the Concord River, so it's technically riverfront, and there is wetlands down there. We are moving the trail further away from the wetlands, so we expect that if there is any impact at all, I don't think there will be, it will be less than where the trail currently is. And I think the last page has some kind of the features. We're trying to avoid the downhill side of the large trees so we don't have this root problem. The maximum slope is about the same, but it's an area where there's no tree roots to cause a problem. The lower end is less steep, as I said. It goes through an area of glossy buckthorn that we're SDT would like to have removed anyway. And in the section in the middle part where it's fairly steep, it does level out for about 10 feet, so that gives some break in the slope to reduce erosion and give people climbing the hill a little bit of a break. It's longer than the existing trail, so the average grade is less, and it's marked with yellow flagging tape if anybody wants to go out and take a look at it. And I think that's about it.
So do we need to do any remediation on the old trail, or are people going to be able to recognize where they should be going as opposed to where they used to go?
Right. So we'll obscure the old trail with branches and leaves and make sure it's not looking like a trail anymore. When people have a choice between the two, they will not take the old trail.
Well, I certainly would go for the more casual slope, shall we say. So, any commissioners have questions?
I can say I think the photograph, the trail is actually steeper than it looks like in the photograph.
Yeah, it's quite steep.
Yeah. I went out to, I guess the day after Megan and Steve went out, I was curious. I'd been planning to go out there anyway. And I liked what I saw.
All right. Anyone else in the public who would like to put forward a comment?
One more thing. Do you think you should swing this by crack? Because this is a conservation restriction that is granted to the town of Carlisle.
I don't see why they would have to.
Well,
They're not offering to.
It's a courtesy, perhaps, because it will be a surprise if they don't know about it the next time they do a CR inspection.
Yeah, we can certainly do that. We're not planning to do the work until the spring.
Oh, okay.
So we've got plenty of time.
All right. So I guess I'm looking for a motion from the commission to recommend that we approve the expected changes to the trail as proposed?
So moved.
Can I get, that's Brian. Second, anyone?
Seconded.
Navneet, thank you very much. And we'll take a roll call vote. Sylvia,
Aye.
Dan,
All right.
Brian,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Navneet,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Next point is the discussion of beaver dams along the Otter Slide Trail. Is Megan, I don't know is there someone here to present this to us?
I guess me.
I mean, I
Yeah,
saw all the
so
pictures that you presented.
yes.
And
So, I heard that there was some beaver dams along the Otterside Trail. And so I took a look, and there are in fact three that I believe to be on conservation property. And I guess I can pull up some of the photos. Let's see. I wanted to put this on the agenda for a few reasons. I had originally heard about this from let's see. I originally heard about this from Select Board Chair Scott Triola, and I think because he lives in the neighborhood around there and he was getting
So
yeah.
yeah, so our HOA there, Daniels Lane at the end of the cul-de-sac, there are 3 properties there that come up against the Otter Slide Trail kind of area. And the homeowners are very concerned about the water level right now, that it's a big pond back there. And if that continues, in the past it's been a perennial issue, and Sylvia probably is aware of this.
And Steve
It
as
gets really,
well.
yeah, it's really deep, and it gets kind of concerningly close to their properties and the damage and whatever that could ensue from that. So it is an active discussion in our HOA right now. So I'm not surprised Scott reached out.
Yeah, sorry, he asked that I tell him when this is on the agenda, so I'm trying to give him the heads up now. But I can pull up the pictures that I have. I also put this on the agenda because I was talking to Chris Spinney about it, and we were kind of chatting about some possible methods to fix the problem. But I was really interested in knowing if the commission had dealt with beaver dams on this section of the trail or river before, just because obviously I'm newer and I'm just trying to figure out how to navigate this so we don't get more flooding. So I'd love to hear if you have past experience with this section.
I'll let Sylvia chime in. She's the one who educated me last time.
Okay. Well, Steve, I'm sure has some experience as well. First of all, right around the time that the bog was still in agriculture but ending, there were a lot of beaver dams along there, and that was impacting the bog itself. And so a lot of the dams and debris were cleared away by Mark Duffy under a maintenance contract for the time. And since then is no longer in agriculture, so it can't happen. I saw this was on the agenda today, this week. So today I took a walk down there and got down to maybe 200 feet down and came to a halt because the trail was flooded. There were 3 trees down before I got there, but they're state trees. They're not Carlisle trees. They're from the other side of the stream, and the other side of the stream is state land. So I didn't go any further than where the trail was flooded. At some point, the land that the trail is on goes onto state land. And in the past, the state has helped manage the beaver issue there. So I don't know exactly, because I couldn't get there, where all the dams are downstream. But I will say, when I got as far as I could get, I heard water flowing like it was going over a dam. So there's clearly something going on downstream down there. So probably Steve has a better description of that. But I know that in the past, and even this spring, when Beavers built a dam underneath, there's a little bridge on a cart path back there that dams water up, and it can dam water up to an alarming degree. I swear, the one I saw a number of years ago, you could kayak on it when it was headed right towards Navneet's house.
You're muted, Navneet.
Is that cart path on private property, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. At least some of it is has a CR on it that allows for public trail use.
And the last time that this was like a bigger issue, the state, because it was on state land, the state took care of it, correct?
Some of the project was on state land. I had a walk all around the bog and down there with someone, I think from maybe Integrated.
Yeah, Beaver Solution.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it was very educational. And they found the lodge, and the lodge was on the state land as well. So they're the ones that took care of it then. And the spring there was an issue, and I think the state helped out with that as well. But I don't know what's going on down there now. I couldn't get there.
My questions / comments are, how time sensitive, in your experience, Sylvia and Megan, knowing the lay of the land, how time sensitive is this? Like, can this wait for the state to get involved and like check it out and then do something? And then, how do we try to prevent this from becoming an issue that we have to deal with so regularly? I think that I think I know what the answer is, but that it's going to be a perennial issue no matter what we do. But like, are there ways we can try to mitigate this so that we're not throwing time, money, and energy at this over and over again?
We've been lucky so far that we've been in a drought. I don't call being in a drought lucky, but if we get out of the drought anytime soon, you may have a little bit more of a problem down there. Steve,
I see you have your hand up.
Yes. So I've been down there quite a bit. I was down there earlier this week. The dam that Megan showed a picture of is further upstream than we've ever had a dam before. It's before you get to the Daniels cutoff trail.
Wow.
And that's what's flooding out the trail right now. There's never been water across the trail in that spot before. There are 2 more dams further down. I think the first 2 are on town land, and the third one is probably on state land. There is no dam underneath the bridge, where it's always been a problem in the past and where it's backed up and created that huge lake. So at this point, the dams are further upstream. They're having a different effect. I have a different concern, and that is that there's a unusual dragonfly that breeds in that stream. It's called a twin-spotted spiketail. It's one of the biggest dragonflies we have in the state. It's very striking. It's black with yellow spots. I first found it there in 2021 and took some pictures and posted on a Naturalist. It's the only place in Carlisle where that dragonfly has ever been seen. I didn't see it in 22, but I saw it in 23. I saw it 4 times in 24, including laying eggs. So we know it's breeding there. This year, the stream has been backed up the entire year. And the habitat for this dragonfly is flowing mid-sized streams. I was out there many times this summer, and I never saw the dragonfly. So I think the current condition where it's turned into a lake instead of a flooded stream is eliminating the habitat for this unusual dragonfly. It's not state listed, but it's one of the more uncommon dragonflies in the state. So, the flooding is certainly a concern. But my secondary concern is the habitat for this unusual dragonfly that's been disrupted by having the water still. Thanks.
Well, thank you. So I guess my question is, well, first of all, anyone else in the public like to add a comment?
I just have a question. I know we can't remove beaver lodges. Are we allowed legally to disrupt dams?
There's kind of a permitting process, so you'd have to issue for the Conservation Commission, we'd have to issue an emergency permit because you're changing the hydrology. So it's within the purview of the Wetlands Protection Act if you disrupt a dam. But you can do it. I believe Board of Health has to declare it an emergency first, though.
There's guidance online.
Yeah.
All you have to do is sort of Google Massachusetts and beaver conflicts, something like that, and you get the outline of what you need to do, and it starts with Board of Health.
So the fact that this could soon affect septic systems, in the needs area, or is that enough that we can go to the Board of Health and ask to get permission to remove the dams?
Typically, yeah, flooding of septic systems, which would be the case here, is considered a public health emergency. So that would give them the ability to issue that emergency permit, and then we would issue our emergency permit after that.
I'm a little surprised that we can go and do that because, there are 3 dams. Each one's going to have a different impact on the water levels and so on. And we need to be smart about how we tackle this problem.
Yeah, it's supposed to be more well thought out. It's not just like, yeah, you issue it and then you remove what you
Right.
want. It has
I
to be well
understand.
thought out. It gets reviewed by Mass DEP too.
And you don't just take them out because, first of all, they'll just put them right back. The other thing is, I think they're looking for in beaver dams is beaver solutions type of a solution, not just take them out. The other one is the solution we don't want to talk about.
Understood. So is there something that the Conservation Commission should move forward with, or do we just react to proposals?
George, Chris Spinney has his hand up. If we could take.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Chris, I didn't see it.
That's quite all right. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I'm here because I spoke to Megan and just offered, just the manual labor to remove the dams. As you guys know, I spend a lot of time with sticks over at the Cranberry Bog Flume. I've removed plenty of beaver debris in the last 3 or 4 years. So, I don't think it's a difficult task to alleviate the immediate problem. There's long-term solutions that have to be looked at, as you say. But I think as far as, a 10-day emergency kind of order to remove the dams would be the right thing to do. And then really talk to Mass Wildlife about longer-term strategies. There's levelers you can put in. Sometimes you just lay a chain down across the bottom of the dam, and you basically, to keep it clear, you just pull the chain up every 2 days. So my experience in the last few years is the beavers are kind of at the end of their line as far as the work they're going to do. We're going to get a 3-month break from them, over the winter, where they really don't have a lot of activity. So I think just at least getting them clear for now would be the right thing for the commission to look at. Particularly, I wasn't sure about the threat to property, but I guess I'm hearing that now. I did, while the meeting was going on, pull up that document that Sylvia spoke of and emailed it to Megan. And you're right, it starts with the Board of Health, but the Conscom has to agree to remove the dam.
Well, and it's the board, the CONSCOM has to issue this 10-day emergency cert in order to do the work on it. But we need to know what they're going to be doing. But you sort of time it, so you got that 10 days. You don't issue it at a meeting and then they start getting their equipment together. You time it so that you can get the most out of your 10 days. But still,
I don't
ways
think
of
you.
doing it.
Yeah.
Because if you just take the sticks out, they're just going to put it back.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't think you're going to get. I'm not sure. There's a lot of ways for equipment to get in there.
I realize that.
Yeah, I think this is a manual job. Like I said, for the short term to get the water out. I just offered Megan that opportunity. The water's getting a little colder, so the longer we wait, the harder it's going to be to do. But
the other thing too is there's a lot of water in there. It's really getting pretty high. It isn't as high as I've seen it, but it's getting pretty high. When you start taking out the beaver dams, you've got something that's going to be happening downstream too, because you're letting a lot of water go pretty fast. And so there's downstream impacts, and it's going to go right down to the park. And they've been having some issues down there recently. There's a trail that's gotten flooded in the last couple of weeks. It's better now, but there's a lot of water going through the park across the trails now.
So, George, can we pre-authorize you or Dan as your vice chair? If you work with the Board of Health and there's a decision made before our next meeting, that you are authorized to take whatever appropriate action is required?
To declare an emergency process. Before we go there, Brian, I see Scott Priola has got his hand up too.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to chime in that myself and Aaron Goodisman, who lives on Daniels Lane, were at the Board of Health meeting back in June when they issued the last emergency permit for the dam that was under the bridge. So certainly at the time, what they found compelling was the risk to the septic, and also there's a junction electrical box or some sort near the bridge. And they found those two things to be sufficient to issue the emergency permit. So let me know. I think having the abutters there was really helpful for the Board of Health. So just let me know what that process looks like, and we'll make sure someone's there.
Is there any question but what some of this is impacting the state park on site right now? Because sometimes it's helpful just to bring someone from the state park in, and they can be helpful too. Because that's what happened this spring. The state park took care of some of it.
So I feel like there's like pieces here, like, so there's immediate, and so like getting somebody out there to look at the place, understand what order of like, removal of the dams that least impact downstream, and then issuing the emergency cert so that then that work can happen. And Board of Health also issues their declaration that it is an emergency. And then it's the more sort of nuanced, okay, what's going on further down, involve the state, like have them assess their property. And then like we're talking about longer term solutions to help mitigate this, not eliminate it, but mitigate this issue as best as possible. So we're not here once a year or twice a year.
Does it make any sense to have 3 emergency procedures, each of 10 days long, where you tackle one dam and then the next and the next?
You can
stretch it out.
You can extend them.
Okay. Yeah. You could do it all at one time and then just extend them as needed.
As I said, take them out, they're going to come back. But Steve, in your wanderings down there, did you see any sign of a lodge?
No, I didn't.
Before, when this happened a few years ago, the lodge was on the state side of the stream.
Right. I did not see a lodge. I didn't see any cached limbs like they use near a lodge.
No.
I'm kind of wondering if the same beavers that had dug into the dam were the ones that built those dams, and maybe they're not going to rebuild them if they're taken out, if the beavers are gone.
There's only one way to find out.
There's also a big dam further downstream from the bridge, where the driveway goes across the old mill site.
Mhm.
There's a pretty huge, there's probably a 6-foot drop at that dam. So there's a pretty big pool behind there. I also noted that there's basically no water flowing out of the cranberry bog now. It's pretty much stagnant back up into the bog because of the first dam that's close to Curb Street. So it's
Well, today anyway, there were 3 trees that when I walked down the Otter Slide, soon after Curb Street, there were 3 trees down across the stream. None of them seemed to be holding up water, but they were there and their potential for future dams. But those were trees that fell over from the state land.
yeah, if you go all the way down Otter Slide, there's quite a few trees like that. But as far as I can tell, none of those fallen trees are blocking the water. It's the dams.
It's the dams.
So again, is there something we can do here tonight to authorize you, George, either you, Dan, or our agent to be able to take action before our next meeting if that's required?
I think that that's a reasonable next step. I don't know if that's kosher, Megan.
Yeah, so to my understanding, the chair always has the authority to issue an emergency 10-day permit. And then it gets kind of like retroactively approved at the next commission hearing. So I think that authority is already there. If it becomes a problem that needs to be solved immediately, I'm wondering if following this meeting in terms of what action I can take to help. Maybe I contact the state and figure out, first of all, if they're willing to help, and second, if they have any opinion or helpful tools to help us deal with this. And then also maybe do some research on ways to deal with this in the long term. But I do agree that maybe something needs to happen more immediately.
In terms of communicating with the Board of Health, does that have to be at their meeting or can that be offline, like to issue the emergency? Same sort of thought process that George has the authority to do so. Does the Board of Health?
I think it can happen offline because when we got for removing the beaver lodge at the Cranberry Bog, whenever that was about a month ago, I coordinated with the Board of Health there to get that emergency permit. So it would be the same process that I've already done. So I can do the coordination offline if that's what the commission wants to do. I just have to coordinate when they issue their permit with when we issue our 10-day so that it overlaps, obviously.
So Megan, I guess I'm confused a little bit. I don't know what we're supposed to do in the 10-day emergency window. Are we just going to strictly go out and take all 3 dams down?
Yeah, that's where I'm trying to figure out what the plan is as well, because to me, as Sylvia mentioned, when you have water like that, it needs to be thought out to an extent because you're changing the hydrology. I'm not as familiar with the area and what's downstream, so it's something I'd have to probably look into to understand more. But I do agree that if there's potential that this water will be flooding septic systems in that abutting neighborhood, that something kind of has to be done immediately.
I agree with you there. I just don't know what makes sense to do and in what order.
In the past, maybe for people that live in that neighborhood, do you know, like the water level where it's at now? Is that an indicator that, I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out what has happened in the past and how close we are to that situation or if we still have time.
I don't know in the past if we've had multiple, so it's like there was no order
I
of
see.
operation. It was just one that had to,
One. Okay.
unless Sylvia, there's more history there that I'm not aware of.
It also
think
seems
that-
the levels seem higher upstream than they have in the past when the dam was at the bridge.
Okay.
So it kind of steps up, and where it's flooding the trail, I don't recall that part of the trail being flooded before, and that's I think, closer to some of the abutters than the flooding that
Okay.
was down by the bridge.
Okay.
George, Chris has his hand up
Yeah.
again.
Oh, go, Chris.
Yeah, so I guess I looked at the summertime plug of the Overwalk Way, the down by Suki's house there this summer. And in my view, there was a lot more water being retained when that dam was cleared, and I think it was cleared all at once, or maybe in two steps. But I don't recall there was any problem downstream when that was cleared earlier this year. The other thing I'll say is while there's three dams, I think there's one major one that's causing the issue. There's two downstream of it, but my view of those is they're quite small and not really. There's not a big water level change at the two downstream dams, if you will, where the first dam you come to has the bigger drop. So that's where the majority of the water is backing up. It's just my view. I took the same walk as everybody else did to look at them.
The spring, when I was contacted by Steve, it struck me that John Aziz, he's the supervisor at the state park, got somebody from I guess it's a wildlife. I can't remember the name because it was an integrated wildlife. They came up with a plan to deal with the dam that was under the bridge. And it looked reasonably good to me as a way of getting rid of the dam and also releasing the water in such a way that it didn't cause too much problems downstream. I was out in the park last week or so, maybe week and a half or so, and noticed water was pretty high there, to the point where I heard from somebody else that they wanted to go up the Maple Ridge Trail and were turned back because the state park folks were actually pumping out the trail because there was so much water on it. So there's a lot of water going through there, and I'm concerned that if we just sort of go in and pull all those dams out, that there's going to be a flood.
So in your opinion, Sylvia, what's the quickest way? And
personally, I think it would be good to get a professional.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, how do we need to coordinate with the state then on a sort of an emergency timeline to get somebody out there? And then is it going to be the same people that was used last time?
Well, it's going to cost money, so we got to figure out how to manage that.
Yeah,
we need to have somebody come up with a plan. So, and it might be a sort of a tri-party plan, town, state
and professional
resident. It's not an easy site.
So maybe the best way forward right now is for me to get in contact with the representative from the state park that Sylvia is referring to. And work with him and see if they have a plan in place or if they have recommendations or a company.
Agreed. Yeah.
Maybe they'll just deal with it and we won't have to. Probably not, but you never know. But I think it seems like they'll be a good contact to kind of lead us forward from here. But yeah, the funding is something we'd have to think about. But I guess
we need to pull in
first,
Ryan and get some idea of what that is. And I'm a little uncomfortable with this at the moment.
I don't think we know enough information.
I agree. Does it make sense to, Navneet, I think, or Sylvia, you said to get a professional. Who would we go to get state's good. I'm sure they have people that
They
are
wouldn't
wise
do
and
the
so
work.
on.
I mean, they look at the plan you have. It's like the
Well,
Wetlands Protection Act. You come up with a plan and you submit it, and um, so, but
well,
there are
we don't have enough
professionals.
information to submit a reasonable plan, in my estimation.
I mean, there's Beaver Solutions, which has material set up in town. Um,
But can they estimate water flow and so on and the impact of taking down one dam or three dams and what's going to happen downstream?
they're pretty knowledgeable.
Yeah, they're very knowledgeable and a great contact. And one of the things they do is installing like pond levelers, so they get the water to flow through as it kind of would naturally instead of just removing the whole dam at once.
Okay, good
So
insight.
there are resources out there. I think this was just important for me to put on the agenda tonight to put it on everyone's radar that we have 3 beaver dams along this trail and trying to get some insight into what's been done in the past here, which I think is I've heard a lot and it's been super helpful. And so maybe it seems like we're not quite at the point where we're ready to say, okay, let's issue an emergency permit and remove the dam because we don't really quite know what that entails yet. But I think this is helpful in getting us to think about that. And maybe by the next meeting, I'll have more information after talking to the state and we'll be better informed for how to deal with this. But if something, say we get a ton of rain and it starts flooding, George does have the authority to issue an emergency order if we need to deal with it that way.
I'll get my pump out. That'd be good. Okay. I think that's the best motion to do at the moment is to
So,
sit and wait and see about getting resources that we could use when the time comes.
so it's talking, I just want to make sure I have it clear. So talking to John Aziz, to coordinate with them, but also for him to understand what impact on state land would look like and what's going on there, because nobody has laid eyes on that either quite yet. Talking to Beaver Solutions, talking to Ryan from a
Financial
their
standpoint.
financial standpoint,
Right.
and getting a better handle of what the order of operations should be, provided water, like we don't get a deluge of water, and that timeline has to change before our next meeting. Is that correct? Am I?
I think that's good 3 points.
So who's
I'm
gonna
also
do,
curious.
who's going
Sorry,
to
go
do the
ahead, Sylvia.
first task? So who's going to get in touch with John?
I think I thought Megan was. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I'm happy to follow through with those items and talk to John at the state.
And
Well,
maybe just give Board of Health the
Yeah.
heads up
Heads
that
up.
this is brewing.
So
Okay.
maybe Megan, you and Sylvia can have a joint call with the state. Does that make sense? Or a Zoom call or something? And
Well, yeah, we'll figure out how to fit it in. And John knows me, so
that's why I'm recommending the two of you work it.
but he needs to know Megan too.
Right. Well, you can introduce Megan.
Yeah.
And let me know what I can do. I'll be happy to join in conversations or whatever.
Okay. Okay, so I'll report back at the next meeting regardless. We'll put it on the agenda.
There's some trouble in the way it's called Thanksgiving, so
Yep.
Well, I'm also curious, are there any beavers that are actively supporting those dams, or did we take care of that problem with what we did in the cranberry bog?
That was
I know
Steve.
there's
That
lots
was
of beavers
Steve's
out there.
point. That was Steve's point. But for what it's worth, I usually sometimes see beavers running across Daniels Lane between two properties. I haven't seen them in a long time. For what it's worth.
Okay. Well,
I can
I'm
report.
curious.
I can report, George, that behind dam number one, while we removed the lodge and the beavers that were resident there,
Yep.
there's still some that attack the risers. So, we did our best to we got the water level down and controlled with the boards and dug a tunnel out so that the water is maintained very low. But I am maintaining that quite often right now because they come back every night and throw a little mud at me.
Okay.
So,
Well, thank you.
Just so you know, they're still there.
Well, thank you for doing that effort.
Sure.
Steve, you have your hand again.
Yeah. One way to tell if the beavers are still there is for Chris to go out and put a hole in that top dam and see if it gets repaired the next night.
Yeah.
That would be pretty quick test.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I'm happy to do that. I could break just half of 6 inches away and see if it comes back.
Yeah, I can help you too, Chris. I've got insulated chest waders.
Yep. I've got some insulated gloves that go up to my shoulders.
So one of the issues with Beaver Solutions is in a conversation I had with them probably 3 or 4 years ago. They sort of pack it in when the water gets really cold. So we've got to stay on top of this.
Good point. All right, we need to move on. Item 5 on our agenda is discussion of the wetland bylaw. And I know poor Alex has been sitting in the side there, twiddling his thumb, wondering when we're ever going to get to that. So, Megan, do you have a plan for what we need to discuss under this topic?
I think Sylvia has a better plan than I do on this.
All right.
She worked pretty hard to put together a timeline, a tentative timeline that we could follow for this, so I will pull that up. Yeah.
Yes, I remember
Here it
seeing
is.
that. Thank you, Sylvia. It's a good timeline. But we
It
need
took a lot
Alex
of my weekend,
to
I'll tell
comment on it
you.
too. Uh-oh. Pardon me for a minute.
Where is it?
What happened?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to wait for him to come back or if you rather start the discussion.
And what happened to the sound? The sound just went out.
Yeah.
Well, George got up and walked away. He said something about, uh-oh. So I don't know what happened. I put this together. I didn't necessarily mean to run the discussion because we got Alex here. But I started looking at the when town meeting was and when all our meetings were and what needs to be done and what can be done. And one thing I don't have is, when it needs to go to town council, but I just thought it would be helpful to put it all on a piece of paper like a flow chart, only not in the little boxes, and see where it got us to get to success. And there are some times when we've got CONSCOM meetings, and I don't have anything planned there, but it means that if you need to have a discussion about it, those days are available. I ran into Ryan last week, I guess it was, and I think this is what really inspired me to do this. He said that the Board of Selectmen wants the what is supposed to go in the warrant for publishing submitted to them 2 weeks ahead of time on April 1st. And so I said, okay, we got to back everything up. What I don't have now is when it goes to town council for review. I would assume it would go to town council for review before then, but I'm not positive of that.
Well, I agree with you, Sylvia. I think you're right. It should go to town council before it actually gets submitted to the select board.
Right. And he also highly recommended that if you make any changes, or if any, I say you, I'm a we now. If we make any changes to the draft and get down and get it in the shape that we want, we should go back to the select board again and meet with them again. And I was recommended we go to the Board of Health too, because I had Megan put up that thing I put together from the last trip to the select board and the Board of Health. There were a lot of questions on that they had. I think it's worthwhile looking over that, and also the draft that's there, and I'd like to see a date on it. And also, there was a discussion at a recent CONSCOM meeting about adding something to it, having to do with lighting around, wetlands and vernal pools for night lighting. So something to think about for the future. But anyway, Alex is here.
Good evening. So Sylvia, you forgot to mention that you also spent some time corresponding with Wayne Davis.
Mm-hmm. That is true. I ran into him up at Great Brook. Yeah.
About the schedule. So I think the schedule is really good. I do have a couple of comments. One is that if the CONSCOM is going to, re-engage with a review of the bylaw at the next meeting, one of the things that I think you guys really need to consider is the question of the proposed regulations relative to vernal pools. I think there was strong resistance to that proposal, and the commission should, I think, be prepared to discuss alternatives to that regulation. And if the commission wants to keep what's there, then there needs to be a strong effort to persuade, other boards that it's necessary. So that's my first comment. My second comment is I'll do what I can to help the commission with this, but I will be away from January 15 to the beginning of February. So there's a blackout period for me where I won't be able to attend meetings or anything of that nature. My third comment is, and Sylvia did mention this in the timeline, but I think it's really critical to have an early discussion with the planning board on the proposed bylaw, to at least get their
buy-in, yeah.
buy-in or reaction so that the commission can, respond. So those are my main comments. I think this needs strong engagement by the commission as a whole to persuade other town boards that this is a good idea.
So, question, Alex, for the vernal pools, I remember there was sort of a negative reaction to that. Looking at other towns, have they put together a better, have they handled vernal pools independently? And if so, do they have an argument that we could leverage?
So, I mean, the vernal pool regulations run the gamut. I think what is concerning folks about our proposal is that it calls for a 100-foot, undisturbed
Buffer, yeah.
undisturbed buffer, and the only way you get around that is through the waiver process, and I think that makes people
Nervous.
very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that many other towns have done it. But Carlisle seems to have an independent streak, and you're going to have to persuade folks that that's going to work. And I would, on the whole, I would just say, if my choice is dispense with the vernal pool provisions for the time being to get, the other provisions, I would do that. But I don't think that's necessary. So I'll just throw out as, an alternative for the commission to consider is to give the vernal pools the same buffer zone treatment that we've given to other wetlands, which is the 25, 50, 100 routine, 25-foot no disturb, 50-foot no structure, 100-foot, do whatever you're going to do in a sensitive manner. And I haven't seen that approach taken in other regulations, but I think that would at least, get you a first step. I throw that out as something that you might want to consider as an alternative.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Dan, from a protection standpoint, would that be?
It's case specific, but if it's a nice forested, undeveloped property, 25 feet isn't going to do much, protecting if you can clear right up to that line. So it depends how much available habitat there would be elsewhere. So, and I just want to point out, we got these comments from one or two members of Board of Health, Alex, and it's hard to say that this is the sentiment of the town, based on that. I don't know if you've heard, we talked to the select board. I don't think we got too much of that response from them. ESC, I presume, was 100% on board with the idea, and trails, I don't remember. But so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and Crack thought we were way too week.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So,
You know,
no,
I understand, but on the other hand, the Board of Health, following, our presentation, voted not to support. And so clearly we need to go back to the Board of Health and
oh,
persuade.
I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that.
So anyway, I think that is, in terms of changes to the draft, is the major thing for the commission to consider. Whether the commission wants to change it or not is up to you guys.
I'll take the lead on researching some other towns and the scientific basis for that.
I was wondering about whether or not there are any supportive peer-reviewed articles that could be made available. I think not only about vernal pools, but for the whole concept of the 25-foot 50 setbacks, for example. I just remember, and I was rereading again the document I put together from our interviews with the Select Board and the Board of Health. The one question that stuck out from me was, what damage is there to wetlands from the existing bylaw? And it's like, well, we've got the Wetlands Protection Act, we've got the existing bylaw, which is basically the Wetlands Protection Act. How do we know that there's any damage being done? Well, I think it's very hard to make that determination because you don't know what's not happening because you're not being as careful as you could be. So it might be good to have some sort of independent peer review article that talks about the protections and the virtues, the functions and values of buffer zones and wetland regs. Do you know of any, Dan?
The recent buffer zone manual that came out 2 or 3 years ago. I'll check the references in there.
Okay.
That's the most current one that I'm aware of. That was
UMass Amherst has quite a bit of literature too.
Okay, well, it'd be good to be able to import some of that and maybe have a section up on the commission's website with proposed bylaw and supporting documentation that backs up what the commission's trying to do. And as we go forward, if they make any changes, date the most recent amended one and get that up there too, so that people can keep track of it.
Right.
Yes,
I agree.
I liked what the planning board did. They had, a non-meeting night where they had a Zoom night when they could take public questions. This was on the MBTA things, and it might be good to try that as well, but entirely, it's up to you. I sort of threw everything at that timeline to try to see how we could fit everything in to help get to a successful end. I know that years ago, when we got our most recent town council, I think it was Tom Harrington said to me that he felt that the commission should update and revise the bylaw. He didn't say how. It might be interesting to find out what he had in mind.
Is there any reason? I mean, I think, I hope this draft is at least at the 80% mark. Is there any reason not to give it to town council now?
No, I just ask Ryan. I never sent anything to town council without going through Ryan, so.
Yeah, I'm happy to send it along if that's what you guys are ready to do. Unless you think there'll be a revision coming soon. Yeah, I don't know the best procedure if you want to wait or just kind of give them the first draft and see what they have to say and then edit around that.
I think that makes sense, even if they're gonna be revisions, if there are obvious issues to them that they think are gonna be worth raising, the sooner that gets flagged, the better. So I don't really see why not.
So if Board of Health voted not to support it, and from what I heard from Ryan, there wasn't an overwhelming joy about it from the select board either. I think it would be good to get some kind of a reading, and because I suspect if it's going to need some revision.
But it would be nice to give legal counsel a heads up on topics that we think he should pay attention to, like vernal pools and so on. Sort of point him in the right direction.
From my experience in Megan's position over the years, as far as vernal pools is concerned, whenever there was anything big that came along, the neighbors all got together and tried to certify anything that looked like a vernal pool as soon as possible, hoping that it would influence the project. So, you know, it's a really interesting subject. But then we've had other projects where they were documented vernal pools. And both Dan and I saw them. One was in Arrowhead and one was off of West Street. And it was very frustrating because we knew they were certifiable vernal pools, but we needed the property owner permission in order to certify them. Right, Dan?
Yeah, that's correct. There's not, but even if they were there, there wasn't, our bylaw didn't matter.
Right. Yeah. So it's, I mean, that's, I suppose there could have been a different way of organizing a project, but I have no idea how those sites are doing right now.
All right. Any more comments at this point?
I guess I'll just say to be honest with you all, it's a little overwhelming me to think about really like leading the charge on everything with the bylaw in the timetable that's laid out there. So I think it would be really great you know, to have support from the commission, which it sounds like everyone's already really supportive of it, of course. But I just wanted to put out there that it might be hard for me to really dive in as much as I'd like to in that time frame before town meeting. So the more help, the better. And I also know ESC has offered to provide us with support once we get to the stage of you know, presenting and maybe providing support letters and things like that. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Appreciate your insight, Megan, and we will try our best to support you. All right. I think we should move on from this topic. Alex, thank you very much for taking your time to participate.
So the step next is really for Megan to go through Ryan to send this to town council.
Legal.
And to get feedback.
If it's helpful to you, Megan, I'm happy to deal with that. I also know town council quite well. So.
Okay, maybe we can both be looped in on it. Okay. Thank you.
And as far as the timeline goes that I put together, I fully expect that changes can be made. This was just a suggested one. So if you see something you'd like done differently, to the degree that is possible, go for it.
Got it. Thank you for doing that, Sylvia.
Well, if you're going to get to town meeting, it's something like that has to be done.
All right. Next item, Land Stewardship Committee updates.
I think that would be me.
I would hope so.
It's unfortunately it's kind of quick and boring. We had 13 things on our agenda. We got to number 5 by 9:30, and we drew a line and ran out the door. So nothing really to report. The main time bog was the budget, and we kind of slogged all through that. And that's of course Conscom's budget of the maintenance and the mowing and everything else. But the rest of it was basically trivial. The good news is that next Tuesday, the 28th, we will have the first meeting of the Woodward subcommittee to start talking about the Woodward license and what's going on there. But otherwise, I don't have much to say.
1128 Woodward. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Of me or George?
Well, you
Yes.
actually.
His meeting.
Well, the Conscom always gets to look at the budget. And I assume that Megan's gotten a budget letter from FinCom? Maybe? Yeah.
Yes, so I was gonna bring that up as a topic not reasonably anticipated because I couldn't add it onto the agenda in time, or rather I didn't. But I was gonna bring that up at the end of the meeting.
I was wondering when LSC was going to provide their maintenance budget to the Conservation Commission so the commission can look at it.
Well, you were there. You were at our meeting.
Yeah, but I'm not the whole commission.
So no, I mean, so you're aware that we barely got through it, and we have to present that. We didn't get anything from FinCom, right? I
Oh,
guess
you didn't?
we're a daughter of Conscom, I guess. But it's just it's pretty much all maintenance costs and and there was some contention over possible water testing. But otherwise, it's sort of the same as last year, I think.
Well, it'd be good to take the commission to take a look at it, but I don't know what the deadline is because I haven't seen the FinCom.
So the deadline is December 5th, which is why I rushed to put it on the agenda. But I don't know if I want to just wait till we get there, if you want me to talk about it now.
We don't have another meeting before December 5th.
Yes, exactly. I meant in terms of the way that the agenda is written, I was going to bring it up at the end of the meeting, so I wasn't sure if I should wait till the end of the meeting or just go for it right now.
What's in your mouth right now? You might as well go.
Okay, let's just go for it. Yes, so we got the budget letter. I actually put it in the Google Drive last minute, so it is in there for you all to see after the meeting.
It's really illegible. If you try to expand it, it's really low res, and it just ends up a bunch of squiggly lines. At least for me.
Okay.
So
Can
you
you bring
might
it
Which
up, Megan?
document are you referring to?
the budget thing you got from the town.
The spreadsheet or the guidance?
I don't know. It was too big. It could have been.
When did you get it?
I got it on the 6th. I was on vacation I guess, kind of vacation for a little. And then there was a training on Tuesday that Ryan held for department heads. And then I hadn't done anything leading up to the training. And then at the training, I was like, oh my God, December 5th. And the agenda was already posted. So I just added it last minute for myself and was going to bring it up. But so I guess my request tonight, because we don't have another meeting until then, was gonna be, I was gonna request to probably work with Sylvia offline, to get this budget sent in. I'm scheduling a meeting with our FinCom liaison as well. And I also have a meeting with Ryan just to kind of help me get oriented with the budgeting process. And this year is a little different, or maybe it's not different, but they are looking for a 1% decrease in the budget. So it's a 1% decrease budget exercise. So I have to submit that too. But again, this isn't something that I'm like, yeah, just authorize me to send it in and whatever. I want to work with as many people as I can. So of course, Sylvia probably being the most qualified person on earth to help me with this. And knowing that we don't have time between now and then to present this to the commission.
Can you share that with the chair though? Can we look at, maybe 1 or 2 years past and see what's the current recommendation is based upon your numbers or the FinCon numbers?
So yeah, this is what has been sent to me. So this is the 2026. And so 2027 will look different for the salaries for 2 reasons, because 2026 reflects Sylvia salary and not mine. And then also the Concom admin assistant is Judy Hodges, who does the minutes, and she might not be doing the minutes in 2027 anymore. So there is going to be some changes in the salaries in terms of, all the other aspects of the budget. That's where we need to do that 1% decrease exercise. But I'm very much in the beginning stages of understanding what to request. So again, definitely want to work with Sylvia, FinCom, and Ryan to make sure we get this done correctly. But so the repair and maintenance line right here is LSC's budget. So almost 44,000 is what was allocated last year.
And we're going to live within that,
Yeah.
just so you know. I mean, we're not proposing
Okay.
a huge increase. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I can't find the document I couldn't read. But one of the financial documents which had, it started with the fire department and their budgets, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that one. Yeah. That was the capital funds.
I couldn't read it.
Capital. Yeah.
We don't have capital stuff that much anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. It was for the whole town.
Yeah.
Just to put a cap on it, when I started back in 2000, the maintenance budget for conservation lands was 4,000, not 44.
Wow.
Well, Brian's
Good work.
expensive.
It's all those parties we have, yeah.
Well, in a way that that shows the impact of a lot of it anyway is what's costing us to run the bog.
Right.
All the
Agreed.
maintenance that was done on the bog was done by Mark.
But we paid for it, 10 grand a year.
No. I mean, when he had the contract or the lease agreement.
But after that, we paid for it.
Well, after that, but that was 2016.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there at this point.
Exactly.
So I
I'm
guess
not
with
sure how
all
we can
that
put the
being
budget
said,
together if land stewards don't have theirs done yet.
I'm sorry?
I don't know how we can put a budget together if the land stewards don't have their maintenance budget done yet.
I think we figured it all out the other night, but
Oh, okay. I thought you said it wasn't quite done, but maybe not.
no, I said we only got halfway through our meeting.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
If I can interject there, Warren did circulate a revised budget document based upon what the LSC decided at the meeting. So there is a document that you can use, Sylvia, which I think is pretty much the final. I mean, it's still to be reviewed by LSC, but he made changes based upon the discussion.
Okay, that'd be great to have.
I'll make sure everybody has that if they don't already. As soon as it's over. And Megan, you're right. It was the capital plan draft. That's just, I can't read it.
So I wonder if there's a problem with your own like computer or
My
software or something, because it's perfectly clear for me. But yeah, I don't know.
Brian, I will
So
send
if I zoom in, it just gets worse.
Brian, if you zoom in on a PDF using your mouse, like I don't know, are you using like a trackpad to do it or a mouse?
I was using a trackpad, yeah.
Okay, so if you use the plus button, you'll probably have better luck being able to zoom in with the resolution being clear.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Right, I'll work with that after. But that was the one document that the more I zoomed in, the worse it got. So, okay, I'll look at it. Thanks. I'm not a Google stock guy.
All right.
You can always download it onto your computer.
I tried.
Documents. Okay.
I
And so with all that being said, it sounds like, well, I guess I'm asking if you'd all be comfortable with me working with Sylvia to get this submitted in a timely manner. Of course, with Sylvia's permission.
Not before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
obviously, the
soon after.
commission doesn't meet before the deadline, so
Mhm.
we kind of have to rely upon the powers that be to put this together.
Yeah, I'll get in touch with you, Megan, with respect to, I mean, if indeed the commission is okay with that, I will get in touch with you about how to work around my schedule next week.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
yours.
my ideal plan is to meet with FinCom and Ryan and kind of try to do my own draft and then coordinate with you after and see if you think I've done things right, and if not, teach me how you used to do it. And yeah, just to get your recommendations.
But I do believe that the commission should see the land steward's budget. Because it's in their name, so it's on the, yeah. So it just is a good thing for them to look at.
But so I will send that out tomorrow or when we get out of this meeting tonight for everybody, but it's flat.
Sounds good. All right, can we move on, please?
We can get this document off there.
Item number 7 was CPC updates. Next meeting is on the 15th.
And we need a vote to carry over the funding, CPC funding for the Greener Dam repair and for the Cranberry Bog Dam number 1 repair. And I know Megan said FY27. I would like to suggest we do it for 3 years, just to give ourselves enough of a cushion so we don't have to keep doing this. It doesn't matter. If we get it done, then there's money left over, we give it back.
Sounds reasonable to me. Do we have the numbers that Are they available?
Well, we haven't spent a whole lot on Cranberry Bog Dam #1, but yeah, I think we're somewhere around, no, I don't have the number, but it's something like 298,000 maybe, something along that line. I don't know the exact number. And then the number for Greeno is a little bit less than 50,000.
So what percentage of the budget that we got?
This isn't budget. This is CPC money.
I understand. So for the Cranberry Bog #1, we spent 200,000 out of what percentage?
No, we've spent very little out of the 300,000.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. You were quoting total dollar amounts,
Yeah,
not what we had spent.
I think basically all you need to do is vote to have CPC carry over past this year the money to be available for both Greeno Dam #1 and
Cranberry Bog #1, yeah.
so that it's available again, so we don't have to apply for it again. And it's an internal thing. They can just vote for it in a meeting.
Well, that certainly makes sense to me. Any comments from other commissioners? Then can I get a motion to carry over these two pots of money?
So moved.
Guess not. Sorry, was that you, Dan?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
Second.
And Nick, thank you very much.
Did you say for how long? 3 years?
I like the idea of 3 years. Anyone want to do something else?
That just takes it off our radar.
I think it makes sense.
We don't have to keep thinking about it.
All right, so we'll take a roll call vote, please. Navneet?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Sylvia?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The motion passes. 3 years. Okay.
So George, I just sent over to everybody the
budget.
Do you guys want to take a quick look at it and get it over with?
You want to share your screen?
No. Because I'm using a couple of different screens.
Oh, okay. Well, if you send it to Megan, can you share this?
Budgets usually take a long time to look at, folks.
All right, let's not do that then. It's getting late. It's already 9:20 or thereabouts.
Well, it's 33,345.
Well, the budget that Megan showed was like 43,000 as opposed to 33.
Some stuff is conscom stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Then I think we'll all take a look at it and be able to talk about it at the next meeting.
But don't you need it before then, you said?
Oh, no, we don't need it. Yeah,
Well, yeah, you need to see the main.
Megan needs it.
We'll look
And
at
Sylvia.
it, but in terms of your discussion, as we've already decided, right? Between Megan and Sylvia, we'll work on that. We will look
Yes,
at
make
it.
a recommendation.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right.
All right. Go ahead, Sylvia.
I had one thing that I wanted to take up under topics not reasonably anticipated. And I've already talked to Megan about this as well. If you're finished with everything else.
Well, we have one more topic, was the Cranberry Bog Dam
that's right.
#1 update.
That's important.
I feel like I should just add this to every agenda since I feel like we'll just consistently have updates. But at the last meeting, you all wanted me to check with Sumcode to confirm that they had experience working with the Office of Dam Safety, which I did check with them, and they do have lots of experience. So we're going through the contract signing process.
Good.
I was also able to confirm with ODS that the work that we're contracting Sumcode to do doesn't need any other approvals from them. So they just consider it maintenance work. I actually had someone from the Office of Dam Safety come out to the site, which was kind of cool. And so they agreed that the work we're doing is basically just maintenance work. So that was good that we didn't need any other approvals. And so currently Ryan is working on signing the contract with Sumco, and they're anticipating the work to be complete by the end of the year. And they actually said today that they have someone doing the GPR, the ground penetrating radar work. I think they said they're anticipating that to happen December 3rd. So the only unknown is kind of what the data turnaround will be after they collect that data. Because once they have the data, they'll start doing the actual construction because they'll know where the tunnels are underground and to what extent they'll need to fill those holes. So the wheels are moving and we're getting there, and hopefully by the end of the year and the ground's not frozen, it'll all be okay and it'll all be fixed until the spring.
I was
All right,
out there
Megan, thank you
today.
for,
I was out there today, and some of the ponds have ice on them, just a thin skin, but ice. It's getting cold.
it's, you're right. I saw the ice also. Megan, thank you for the quick summary. It sounds like we're moving forward and appreciate your efforts. All right, Sylvia, you have one last dying gasping.
I remember last winter, early spring, there was a filing for a septic system and a well on 30 Robbins Drive. And in the summer, they made a change, an amendment to their order of conditions, which was issued. And by happenstance, about a month ago, I walked by there. It's the next street over for me, but I hadn't been by there until about a month or so ago. And they installed the erosion control. It's the worst erosion control I have ever seen in my life. And it's in pretty bad shape. And Megan had found it out before I did, by a few days, I think. She's been in touch with, I guess, Stamsky McNary. In the process of doing it, they disturbed outside of the erosion control and into wetlands a little bit. So I think at a meeting after that, Megan issued, on your approval, an enforcement order.
Mm-hmm.
As of today, absolutely nothing has taken to fix the site.
What date was the enforcement order issued?
I don't know because I didn't see when it was, but it was at least 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
It takes maybe 2
Daily
days.
fines? Do we do daily fines?
Authorized, but we've never really done it because what we really want is compliance. I'm familiar with what's happened on this site because it's so close to me. And a few years ago, we had a big rain event, and so much water went down through this area, through the wetland that this thing is very close to. And so much water went down through there that it hopped over Russell Street, which is the next lot down, and washed out the soil between a brand newly installed septic system and a house right across the street.
Wow.
It's a significant downslope from the top of the hill, at the top of, it's Autumn Lane and Indian Hill. So I'm very worried because it's the time of year when we get frozen ground and water and snow and then more rain and things wash off. So I'm a little concerned about the site and the fact that there hasn't been any response.
Well, does the enforcement order that got issued have a deadline for response?
Not for a response, and I just checked. So you guys voted to issue the enforcement order at the October 23rd meeting. So it's been about a month. And so there's no deadline for response. I think one deadline I did put on it was for a restoration plan to be submitted by the spring, but that was more of like a long, well, not that long term, but more of an in the future thing. The enforcement order did very clearly state that they needed to immediately put in additional sediment controls and fix the existing sediment controls. So it was laid out pretty clearly. I've emailed several times. I actually did call the contractor today. And I he did answer, but it sounded like he was waiting for Stamsky and McNary, so I emailed Stamsky and McNary, and I don't know if everyone's just kind of pointing fingers or what. But I'm
Anybody-
trying to be persistent and get
Has
through.
Anybody spoken to the homeowners?
They're looped into all the emails, and I sent the paper copy of the enforcement order to their address, but they're actually not. What I've been told is they're not actually occupying the home right now because the septic system, I believe, is failed, which is what they got a permit to replace. So no one's actually occupying the home right now. So maybe that's why they don't think it's that urgent. But like I said, I'm just gonna continue to reach out.
I think there has to be, as Brian's point, and I understand, and I do agree with Sylvia, we want compliance. We're not trying to look to make money off of this, but if there's no urgency that anybody feels, and the Stamsky, McNary, and the contractor is not going to feel any urgency unless the homeowner puts some urgency on it, right? So that urgency comes from fines. So in not starting the clock of the fines, but letting them know that we have the power to start incurring daily fines that will need to be paid to get to finish your project, especially if they're living outside the house. That's, hopefully that'll be enough of a carrot or a stick, I shall say, to get them to do the work to fix the issue.
So what about a motion to start daily fines on Monday, or I don't know, Monday in a week if they don't take action? I think we should vote on something now so that so they'd get the stick, if that's what you want to call it.
Put the pressure on.
Yeah.
Just to turn the pressure on. And like I said, the goal isn't to collect fines, it's to get them to change, to fix things. So
Well, I don't know
say
what's
after
gonna
the
be-
Thanksgiving, after the Monday or after Thanksgiving, fines will.
December 1st, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So and I don't mean to always harp back to the past, but in Cohasset, when we did an enforcement order, the the fine started immediately. There's no delay for fines. You get an enforcement order and you're told, you've got whatever 7 days and the fines start. It's not something we vote on later. And I don't know how well that would do at a town meeting, but something to consider.
Do you think the owner and Stamsky and McNary understand the rationale for why we're pushing this? In other words, what are going to be the issues if something A, B, or C happens and they haven't taken care of the land properly?
I think to an extent, but I do feel like if we are going to administer fines, I should I feel like obligated to give some kind of heads up for them to comply beforehand instead of just being like,
Which is why I think
you're
we're
going to
saying
get fined.
December 1st or whatever have you, that like you have this coming week to communicate, okay, we're doing this. And then it can be at your discretion if they're actually mobilizing to say, okay, we're not incurring. If we can see a good faith effort that they're working on it and that they will do it. Because right now it sounds like they're not communicating well with you either, right? They're pointing fingers, as you're saying. So thinking as a homeowner, if I was told by my engineering firm and my contractor that they're being contacted by the Conservation Commission because there's an enforcement order, I would be talking to them. I'd be calling you up. I'd be like, oh my God, fix this. And the fact that they're not doing that is worrisome. So that's
I've had no response like this in the past. And I think it's possible that the homeowner doesn't live in Carlisle. He doesn't understand that this can get all played out in the newspaper and be very embarrassing. But I think that, we've never had to issue fines before, but certainly the threat has happened. So that's a good idea. Yesterday, a former neighbor that lives up the street stopped by because she was in town visiting the members of her family. And before coming to my house, she drove around the neighborhood just for nostalgia reasons. And she said, what is happening at that house on Robbins Drive? And it looks terrible. So, and she has absolutely no background at all in wetlands protection, but it was obvious to this person that this was not a good situation. And I'm worried about the ground freezing and being unable to really properly install erosion control.
Okay, so Monday is December 1st. So I'll make a
Yeah.
motion that we start fines on December 1st if
I think if Megan could schedule an inspection on that day, and if she sees that it's not in compliance, then yes, we authorize Megan to issue fines starting that day.
even better.
Good idea. See, I told you, Megan, you get a whole bunch of heads together, and they come up with a solution.
Just one question: is there any work happening, or is it it's dead?
Yeah, they stopped. Originally, they were, when I first found out that they had exceeded the limit of work and that they did something wrong, they were contacting me persistently because they were trying to get the septic and the well in before the winter, because Board of Health has that timeline, that deadline. And then once it got closer to the deadline and they realized it wasn't feasible, they just kind of like dropped off completely. So I had a lot of contact at the beginning, and then I think in their heads, now that they don't have to do the work probably until the spring, they're not worried about it. But of course, from a conservation standpoint, we have soil that's not stabilized. So it's a threat to the wetland, but I don't think they understand that aspect.
Which is why I don't think that it's like, oh, they're not in Carlisle, they don't understand the ways. No, they know when there's something urgent and they're motivated, they communicate. And so letting them know that this is urgent per our priorities. Our responsibilities and priorities.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Nancy Maneri they know.
Yeah,
They know.
but they might be contacting them and they're not
Responding.
who knows? I don't know. I don't care, quite frankly.
And Megan,
so
you can
sorry.
give them, the contractor, the owner, and Skamsky at least an email letting them know what our vote is.
The worst part of the erosion control is near where the well is planned to be, which, if you remember from the plan, was really close to wetlands, within inches, I would say. And installing a well is a really messy job, and it really needs to be done well there.
Yeah, done well. Well.
Yes,
Okay.
I know. Play on words.
I have a question about the fines. I haven't administered fines before, so I guess two questions. First, so the fines would begin if they don't install the erosion control and get it all squared away, and then it would end if they have installed that by December 1st, correct? That's all you're looking for now.
Yeah.
It's not for like a restoration plan, it's just for the site to be stabilized.
In fact, the fines end up being really useless. If you want to go after them for the fines, you have to take them to Superior Court. And if they have, 3,000 fines, it takes dollars to get the money.
Yeah.
So, but maybe the threat is enough.
That's been the experience. The only times we've ever tried to issue fines, we've been told that it will be appealed in court. So,
Okay. All right. But all you're looking for is the site to be stabilized.
That's right.
And then, okay, got it.
So did we
And then
vote
my
on
second
that?
question,
Yeah, and
what
just
was
say
that?
about a vote. Did we actually vote or do we need to?
I vote to communicate that Megan communicates with the.
You're making a motion?
Yeah, I'm making a motion to, I'm making a vote. I'm making a motion. Thank you, Brian. It's late. That Megan communicates with the engineer, the contractor, and the homeowner, informing them that the erosion control needs to be redone and the site needs to be stabilized by December 1st. Otherwise, and she will be inspecting the site on December 1st. And if it is not rectified, that fines will be incurred on a
Second
daily
that.
basis.
Daily fines.
Daily fines will be
Can't get put to
incurred.
death, right?
What's that?
Well
You
done.
can't get put to death.
Or else.
And if you're in the neighborhood, drive by.
Oh, I plan to now after this description.
All right, well, we need to take a roll call vote for this. So Navneet,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian,
Hi.
Dan,
Aye.
Sylvia,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye, the motion passes.
So can I just confirm my second question? So I'm assuming you would like the fine to go to the property owner, not the contractor, because I know sometimes in a lot of municipalities, enforcement orders can go to either or the contractor or the property owner or both. In this case, the contractor obviously was the one who messed up. But it is the property owner's responsibility as a landowner. So I just want to confirm that you're saying you want the fine to go to the property owner and not the contractor.
Yeah.
Whoever
I
the
think so.
the
Okay.
permit holder,
Just-
the
yeah.
order of condition.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
They can fight it out with the contractor.
That's
Got
right.
it. Yep. Just wanted to
And
confirm.
how do you deliver that? By certified mail or in Cohasset, we always had the police chief deliver it because he was the least one to be killed. I
I
don't
think I'll
know.
have to read the bylaw and see.
Yeah, there's nobody, if there's nobody living in the house, it doesn't do any good to nail it to the door, right?
Yeah.
Email. Starters.
Email it to the door?
Well, do we have a legal address for the owner of the property?
Yeah, I think I can figure. Yeah, I think so because
don't
I can
think
always get in
email is
touch with the
sufficient.
treasurer and assess.
Well, you know,
I'm
I'm sure the
sure
tax
on-
collector would know.
I think it has to be
exactly.
certified mail. I don't think you can just email it.
Yeah,
Just say,
Yeah.
you went to spam. Sorry, lady.
yeah.
I guess
think-
what I was trying to say was you can give the warning
Yes.
by
Email,
email.
yeah.
Just otherwise, if you send it certified, they might not get it for 2 weeks.
Well, Stamsky will.
Yeah.
So email it and stating that a certified mail will be coming to all three parties, and then whatever timeline is the timeline. Like you said, Stamsky and McNary will get it in time.
So you modifying your motion?
I am modifying my motion.
Motions?
Allow all my emotions and my motion.
Second your
Email
emotion.
all three parties and then send out certified mails. Certified, whatever, you know what I mean.
Certified
Okay,
letter.
I second
Yeah,
that.
there you go. Thank you.
Revote, George.
Yep.
No, I don't think
Really?
we do. We really need to?
Oh, I think we should. Sylvia,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Brian,
Hi.
Nick,
Aye.
Navneet.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes.
Okay.
I make a
I'm-
motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
That-
I want a motion to let Navneet go to bed. All right. We have an adjournment on the table here. Navneet,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian, Dan,
Aye.
Sylvia,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The meeting is closed. Thank you all.
Night,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.